Bill Stein here, back in the village. This is Moneta Street. It is the famous McDougal Street, by the Cafe Wah. So back in the 60s, this is the mecca of folk music. All right? I'm gonna read a letter first. Usually I wait later to read the letters, but this letter inspired me to do this segment today. All right. Dear Phil, I really enjoy your videos. My grandson shows them me all the time. You dance like James Cagney. I do have one problem with your videos. It's your haikus. Let me explain. During World War II, my plane was shot down over the Pacific. The Japanese captured me, and I had to spend 2 years in a prison camp. I've always loved writing poetry. When they got wind of this, they forced me to write haikus with an anti-American theme. Here's an example he gave me. Children eat rotten meat. Roosevelt can't stand on his feet. American evil. It's a haiku, but anyway, let me continue. If I didn't turn out this garbage, they would have tortured me. When I got out of the service, I went to college on the GI Bill. I would take the subway in from Brooklyn and hang out in Greenwich Village on a nice, that dancing got to me. I used to hang out in Greenwich Village on these streets. McDougal Street is where it was happening. That's where the clubs were, where I got perform my poetry. The Gaslight was my favorite. The Gaslight was back here in McDougal. I enclosed a poem from those days, if you care to read it. Signed, Milton Moskowitz. Very good. And I'm going to read your poem a little later, Milton. I just want to talk about the area. First of all, the Cafe Wah. January 1961, Bob Dylan arrived in New York from Minnesota. First place he played in New York was a Cafe Wah. He went in the first day he got here. He did a set of Woody Guthrie songs. Also, you see the photo of Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix got it started in 1966. He did a gig there, and the owner really loved him and gave him like other sessions to do. Along McDougal Street, I mentioned you got the Gaslight. That was a beat poet place. Then it became folk music. Around the corner, the Night Owl on West 3rd Street. That's where Loving Spoonful used to play. James Taylor. Gertie's Folk City. They used to be on West 4th Street. That's where they all played there. Dylan, that was his first paying gig, was at Gertie's Folk City. Joni Mitchell played there. Peter, Paul, and Mary, they got big in Gertie's Folk City. But McDougal Street, just coinkydinky, was named after General Alexander McDougal. He fought in the Continental Army with George Washington. He was also a Sons of Liberty. Sons of Liberty was a radical revolutionary group started by Samuel Adams, who's the beer is named after. And they formed to fight the British taxation. So it was ironic that McDougal was named after a revolutionary, because this is where the folk revolution took place. And that song I was singing just before, dancing to, that was by the Weavers. The Weavers were a folk group, and their number one hit was that song, Tzaina, Tzaina, Tzaina. It was a Hebrew folk song, but in 1950, that was the number one song on the charts. And they did international ballads, folk, gospel, and two of their members, Pete Seeger and Hayes, was taken in front of Joe McCarthy's committee for Un-American Activities. and they lost their record contract over this, and they lost their gigs. So it was a big deal. All right. Now I'm gonna read that poem that Mr. Moskowitz sent me. Little sad story to go with it. Mr. Moskowitz passed away a few days ago, but I'm in contact with his daughter. I want to see if we get any other poetry, because once you hear this, you're going to want more. All right? It's called America, Who Are You? Eisenhower covers his privates with an avocado leaf. Two cats wait for a bus to nowhere. Rice ain't nice when two antelopes fight over a cantaloupe. Why does the Pope wear suction cups on his elbow? America, America, I weep tears of Kool-Aid. Who must water the mountain? The angel wings trapped in flypaper. If Sally sold seashells by the seashore, who would be dumb enough to buy them? My mother's breasts have names. One's Hiroshima, one's Nagasaki. Bombs away, babe. Now that's that's poetry, and hopefully the others are just like it. It's also said that he never got the recognition that he would have gotten, they should have gotten. You know, he used to perform with Allen Ginsberg, Lawrence Ferlinghetti, but what are you going to do? All right, the pandemic's still going on. Put out my mask and dance out of here. And there's my Boy Scout mask made from my Boy Scout handkerchief. So until next time, I'll see you in the hood.